It's showtime, folks. Welcome in, Chase and Big Joe, 1025, 1063, the game on this Tuesday. He's Big Joe Dubin. I'm Chase McCabe. Dr. Crane, Nick Frazier, behind the glass on the ones and twos. Hope you're having a great start to your day. Joe, what's up?
Man, it's a beautiful Tuesday in the Music City. It's hard to believe we're already almost a third of the way through the year.
I know.
January, February, March.
April. I mean, we're almost into May.
It's crazy, and it's all done. I do a little start to show for a little rant, and I've done this a long time ago, but I got to do it again. Why? I went to 7-Eleven this morning, get a little coffee, a little hanging out there for a second. Why do y'all lock one of the doors?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Why do you really annoying? Leave both doors open? So I walk up and I hit the door, about break the door down. Why do you businesses leave one door locked?
What do you mean by you businesses?
Yeah, I mean, in the words of Ross Perot, you people out there. So why do you leave the one door? Unlock both doors. That makes no sense. Are you afraid you're going to get robbed? Somebody's going to get stuck at that door? I don't get it. By the way, the numbers Dr. Crane, you probably know this since you know everything else in the world. The numbers next to the door when you're leaving a convenience store, you know what they are?
Yes, the height for if you rob the place, they can tell the height.
Look at you, robber.
No, you know how I know that?
How?
The Simpsons episode where Marge accidentally steals from the Quickie Mart.
Is that? I did not see that one.
Yeah, because she accidentally puts like a bottle of liquor in her pocket because Grandpa wanted a bottle of liquor.
Right.
And she forgot it was there, and so got accused for shoplifting. And they asked like how tall she was, and with the hair it was like 8 feet, something like that.
Oh, that's great.
So that's how I know what that is.
I
learned that at a young age.
Oh, good. All right, man. Good morning.
Good morning. Yes, 615-737-1025 is our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Joe, I took a little trip yesterday.
Oh, okay. Out to the country?
No, over to the Titans facility because the two-tone contingent of Chad Brinker and Mike Borgonzi spoke to the media. And, it was kind of their post-draft thing. And my takeaways were not a whole lot. But my takeaways were they were looking at this draft as it's a developmental draft. They got players that they can develop in their system. And again, I think we talked about that yesterday. I like their draft. Will Levis was brought up several times, and they claim, and I guess I have no reason not to believe them at this point, they claim they didn't even try to trade him, that was never a consideration.
You believe that?
I think I believe that part. I don't think I believe he's going to be competing like everybody else and all that. Yeah, they may have decided that, okay, we're probably not going to get much for him now. Let's wait and then see how the rest of things shake out. Because if you look at it, again, the value is never going to be a ton for him. But if a quarterback goes down in OTAs or training camp, then a team might be willing to talk to you because you have that extra asset.
Okay. Look, I don't think Will Levis was a concern in this draft.
No.
I think it was getting Cam Ward and building some pieces around him. And I do like the draft. I want to get on that Sacramento State guy, that Slater dude. He's the one I want to talk to because I keep looking into him and his tape. He's a nasty dude. And the problem is, he's at Sacramento State. Guys like Dylan Radins, players like him, ruin guys like that because you saw what comes from a smaller school and all that stuff. So I'd love to have him on and talk to him. But I was curious what your biggest takeaway was from that entire thing.
Yeah, tell
me what you said in the parking lot.
I'm seeing if Dr. Crane can get the audio, but there was one thing that really stood out to me, and that was Borgonzi was Brinker and Borgonzi were talking about, the process of the draft. And there was a point where Brinker said, Mike did a really good job. He pretty much ran the draft. I had other meetings, so I was kind of in and out. And I didn't pick up if that was like pre-draft stuff, or if there were other meetings during the actual draft. I don't think that's what he meant, because I don't really know what else you would be meeting him out during the. I mean, we got a budget meeting during the draft. Like, I don't think that's what he meant, but so that kind of stood out to me, and I did pick up on a few times that. And I think this is where they're going to have to make a decision. But there were a few times where a question would be asked, and Brinker would start to answer it, and you could kind of tell Borgonzi was like, "Yo, let me talk. Like, I want to answer this.
I like this."
So, I think I could. This is the right one. Okay, this is one of the things that stood out to me.
Yeah, obviously, Mike led this entire process, and that's why we hired Mike to lead the draft, free agency, building the roster, and I have complete trust in him. And how I helped, there's a lot of other people in this building that I gotta care for and be there, and other departments I got to run. So one of the nice things about this setup was that while they were in the draft room, there were times where I had to get pulled away for various meetings for an hour or two, and I would come back, and Mike would say, "Hey, we looked at these 5 players, but you really need to focus on these 3." So it really helped my workload to be able to know what to focus on, and have the full trust in Mike that I believe in him, and he knows what he's a really good evaluator. And the humility that he has is just tremendous, and it helped me still be involved in the process. But ultimately, my trust is in Mike. I mean, I think he's outstanding, and I'm glad we have him.
All right. So here's what I'll say to that. And this was kind of the thought that I had when he said that, in the moment. I like these guys. Like, right now, they're on my good list. Like, they seem like they have been in the game a long time. They study the game. They study the players. But what I'm worried about is them tightening this thing up. And what I mean by that is there's too many cooks in the kitchen. And I'm really scared of that. Like, I think Mike Borgonzi, like, let him cook. Let him be the GM. He came from a winning culture. He came from a organization that knew how to find good players and win. That's why you brought him in here. Chad Brinker, I'll say the same thing about. He came from Green Bay. But you have to decide who's going to play GM. If you're the president of football operations, then just be over there.
You already know the answer.
Be the I know the answer, but I'm just saying, if in like, he sits there and he says all the right things, and he says, it's Mike's running the draft, and I'm doing other things. Then I come in, it's like, hey, we looked at these guys, but focus on these. That's all well and good.
Right.
Because as a manager, I do that too. I mean, I don't know if Ian's still sitting back there. I mean, there's times where, like, interns or whatever, I'm like, hey, you talk to these guys, and if you think they're a good fit, then I'll talk to them. And it's like, that's managing.
But so let me pause it right there. Say intern comes in and he's terrible. You jump Ian's ass?
I say, hey, what did we miss here?
So
now, luckily, we haven't had that problem.
So you're still the GM.
Right.
I mean, so you could talk all day about Borgonzi. That clip, the clip he just played, it was like, well, I was able to come back in. Hey, we need to look at these 3 guys. I don't understand. You're the GM.
Right. So, like, at the end of the day, like, I delegate, right? And that's okay. And Brinker, I guess, can do that too. But if you're going to hire a guy to be the GM, let him be the GM. Because you sat up there and you say, like, well, Mike's running the draft, Mike's making the picks, But then they were talking about trades and stuff, and Chad's like, yeah, well, I couldn't get him to agree to this or whatever. And it's like, wait a minute. Who's doing, like, is this a two,
It is. I think it's Brinker's ship, and I think he's the captain.
That's why I call it the two-tone contingent. And look, it might work, but I'm worried. Like, I'm worried that, you got someone that is perfectly capable of doing this, being the GM. And look, right. I'm not saying that Chad isn't. This is part of the confusion in the whole thing, because I thought when they fired Rand, okay, Brinker's going to be the GM. Just let Brinker be the guy, be the GM, and they still went and hired a GM. Okay. So that has been part of the confusion since the very beginning of, like, okay, well, I mean, I think Chad Brinker is probably more than capable. And then And again, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. They bring in 2 former GMs to be assistant GMs, to kind of be a part of this process. And he talked a lot about Ziegler and
McKenzie.
Thank you. Reggie McKenzie. He spent 2 minutes talking about them. Both of them did yesterday. And like, that's all well and good. But I just, how this works, Joe. It's good to have healthy discussion and debate. But when you get too many cooks in the kitchen, you don't get anything done.
I totally agree with you on that. But
that's my concern. I could be wrong. I could be very wrong, but that's my concern.
Well, I don't know the inner workings of the radio station, and I'm good that I don't. But if you and the GM or somebody else come to this decision, sometimes somebody's not going to be happy. Any business, you're not going to be happy. And I think this could happen here. If he's like, oh, man, we really want this guy, but Chad stepped in and got that guy. And then, so it's ultimately going to go back to the GM, president football operations, who's doing this. And I agree with you. And I think, when Jeff and Floyd were here, did they not get it? That became a problem.
Eventually it did.
Towards the end.
But at the beginning, I think it was, because I've been lucky enough to hear both sides. And I think, for a long time, did they agree on everything? No. But they had healthy debate,
right,
and got stuff done. I think John Robinson and Mike Vrabel were the same way. Now, eventually, like, you do something like that's at times can be intense. You're going to have one party, I think in both cases it was probably the coach, that wanted more say, wanted more power, and it goes back to the famous Bill Parcells quote. They want me to cook the dinner, but they won't let me buy the groceries.
Buy the groceries.
So I again, I kind of get that. So last night, I don't know why I did this to myself, but I watched.
Shaved your back.
Yes. No, I watched the movie Draft Day.
Yeah.
Like, it was on Netflix. I was like,
good.
Why not? Like, it's so terrible, but so good. But, the Kevin Costner and is it Dennis Leary?
The head coach.
They're getting into it of like, I'm the coach, like I should have a say in this. And it's like, well, okay. Yeah, kind of. Like, at the end of the day, I do think the coach should have a little bit of input on the players.
No doubt. No doubt he should.
And there are times where GMs are like, no, I'm going to pick the team.
Then that's not healthy. That's
right.
not a healthy work. No, it doesn't help at all. Which all this leads into our question of the day. You heard it a minute ago, is that, and we love, you guys are so creative out there, and we love this, where you can call us or text us 615-737-1025. What's a more important meeting for Mike or for Chad Brinker than being in a draft meeting? What's more important? What's more important going on in his life that he gets pulled away from the draft meeting? I want to know. I'm just curious why drafting that team is number one. What would pull you out of a meeting multiple times to say, hey, I got to go do this? Well, I'm curious. I'm half comedy and half serious on this. Why would he leave an important draft meeting?
615-737-1025. We will discuss that and much more. Adam will get your call as well. It's Chasing Big Joe on this Tuesday, presented by the Omni Nashville Hotel, 102.5-106.3 The Game.
Hello, Peter. What's happening? I'm gonna need you to go ahead and come in tomorrow. So if you could be here around 9, that would be great. Okay?
Jason Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3, the game on this Tuesday. Was that Office Space?
That was. That's
Gary
Brinker.
Cole.
Brinker walking around Titans facility.
Oh, yeah, that's funny. So did I tell you Gary Cole, who, of course, was in Office Space, is now on NCIS? And in his first season, there was a scene at the beginning of an episode that had me rolling because he's like the team leader now. And he goes, man, I'm just getting so tired of filling out all these TPS reports.
No.
And they were like, it's a DP, it's like something different. And he goes, sorry, old habit. Literally turns and looks at the camera and smiles.
Oh, yes.
Awesome.
He's also Ricky Bobby's dad.
He is Ricky Bobby's dad. He's been in a lot of stuff.
And then he was great as Brady, Mr. Brady, Mike Brady in the Brady Bunch movie.
Yeah, that's right. 90s. He was in that too. Tune in to 94.9 The Fan tonight. Nashville Sounds back in action against the Baby Braves, the Gwinnett Stripers. Pregame at 5:50. The first pitch at 6:05. Coverage also available on the Game Nashville app and theGameNashville.com. Sounds Baseball is presented by Twin Peaks and Family Leisure. Our question of the day, we will continue that in a second. Adam has been waiting very patiently, though. Adam in Portland, what's up?
There's no meeting you could possibly attend that's more important than the draft. But look, this is the problem, dude. I'm sitting here going, all right, if I'm Cam and I talk to my owner and I talk to the coach and I talk to the GM and I'm so happy, and then like, hang on a second, I've got another dude named Chad you need to talk to. Like, it's so weird. Like, no, dude, like it's the whole time. I'm glad you brought it up because I'm sitting here thinking the press conference. I'm like, what? Yeah, he's got 5 guys, but really it's these 3 important guys, and I'm about to run into a meeting, so my time's really important. Why does he got to run anything by you? He is fully capable. Like, hearing that dude speak, I'm like, Mike has got it. He doesn't need your help. Like, if Amy loves Chad, which is clearly what this is like she's infatuated with this guy. She's taken back by him. She's enamored with him. Give him a job outside the camera. Like, he doesn't like being asked questions anyway. So let Mike do the GM work and let Chad do something where he's important and gets to sign stuff. Like, I don't know, dude. I was really put off with everything they did that was good. I was like, man, that would be a terrible place to work to have to answer to these guys like that.
Yeah, fair point. Thanks, Adam. Appreciate the call. I just wonder if this is a situation where, because you see it all the time, where someone in power, an owner in this case, just for whatever reason, trust someone, and that's what happened with Brinker. Just like, okay, you're now in the inner circle, so it's Burke Nihill on the business side, Chad Brinker on the football side, and because Chad has basically admitted it in different press settings that like he didn't ask for this job. He'd been kind of a agent. Now,
twist my arm again.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
yeah, it's easy to kind of go, yeah, oh, okay, all right. But I've seen that happen. But then you get a taste of the power.
Yeah,
and you don't want to give it up.
Truly, honestly, what's more important than a draft? Look, I get it. If you've got 1,000 draft meetings and Amy Adams comes in and says, "Hey, when you talk real quick, it's middle of a draft meeting." I understand that. But you're missing multiple drafts for what?
But I also
don't get it.
On the other side of it, I'm also okay with it because I want the GM to be the GM. So like if Chad has to sign off on something and that's their, way of doing things over there, then I'm almost okay with, hey, we're going to, you go do whatever. We're going to do this. And then he comes back, go, hey, I want you to look at these 3 guys and you tell me what you think. And then that's it. You're almost like he's included, but it's also he's not part of the whole process, and you're still letting Borgonzi be the GM.
Okay, I get it. I understand that, but at the end of the day, he's running the organization.
Yeah,
he's running. Side. Oh, I don't know. I think it's everything. I think he's involved in everything.
No, I.
What's more important than missing a draft meeting?
Well, we got some texters.
Oh, I love this.
1652 said the DoorDash driver couldn't find the front door. Classic reason. Nugs take priority over everything.
Yes.
Skylar says marketing for the new $1 billion stadium. That's all the Titans and Amy care about, especially
That's right.
how they are pumping Cam Ward's tires, trying to sell those season tickets. All about the money, baby. Dylan says, Dylan at Antioch said Chad had to leave the draft meeting because he didn't want to miss Jared versus Joe.
That's a good one. All right, I got it. You ready for mine?
Yeah.
Hit it, Nick. Miss Amy's like, we got some cattle we need to bring in. Get out there, Chad, and get it. Hit it. Woo! It's Urban Cowboy all over again. I'm dreaming of.
I was wondering where you were going with that.
I'm a friend and a lover. All right, thank you.
He's
got to get the cattle out there. Come on, Chad, get it.
He had to go negotiate with Warren Moon to give that number up.
Warren's like, what you got? Well, we'll bring it in. What you got? We'll bring it to Nashville and put you up at what you got. All right, 25 grand. Now I'll be there. You tell me when, and I'll show up there and do that. Yee-hoo!
Yeah. So I
come on now.
JD says this reminds me of a Jeannie Buss and Phil Jackson situation. Mike needs to have decision-making authority. Let Chad do something else. This is dumb. Talking to justify your existence to people that don't want to hear anything you're saying. Bye-bye, Chad.
I'm being serious. You're in a draft meeting. All the scouts are probably on Zoom or a phone call. Everybody's in there. What's more important you being pulled away from? Because he said he runs other things, right?
Yeah.
So other things would be the business side of things. And you could talk about Burke Nighthill all day long, whoever the hell that guy is. I'm telling you.
Burke's pulling more strings than you think.
It probably is, Chase. But I'm telling you, what's more important than this? I'm really curious. What's going on here? You don't think Chad's involved in other things?
Sure.
I bet that guy's ego is so big, he's got to be involved in everything.
I think that Chad and Burke are running things when she's not around. But that's how she set it up. They have both said she has empowered us to make these decisions. So that's probably what's happening.
What is more important than running the football team?
But again, if you've hired a general manager to do general manager things, I don't want him in all the draft meetings. Have him show up when you're at the end.
I'm about to come over there. If you were at work today, I'd come over there and slap you.
Well, I'm right here.
That's the most right now. That was the most important thing. Now I'm making too much of it, probably, but probably not. But I'm curious to see what else will be going on. Ticket sales.
But again, the way that things are laid out, he is the president of football operations, which that includes a lot of different things. Director of operations. I understand what that means. I mean,
tough guy now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, if a toilet gets clogged up, he's got to go tell somebody to fix it. I mean,
you're right about that.
So the GM, Mike Borgonzi, is the one in charge of picking the players. Now, I mean, if Chad doesn't like something, then I'm sure he does veto it, but I don't know.
Did they talk about the progression of Cam? Is Cam Ward? Was he asked if Cam Ward's going to be the starting quarterback in September?
Yes, and they've basically sidestepped that every time they've been asked. There were some interesting things about Levis and the quarterback room and that dynamic. We'll talk about that coming up next. It's Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
You've talked about a plan for a rookie quarterback. What is that plan in terms of I know you work with Brian on that, but what is the plan in terms of reps and alignment and work?
Yeah, we've had a lot of discussions with Brian about that. And I think as we head into the off season here, like I said, it's going to be a competition. And these guys are going to get, equal amount of reps right at the beginning. And they'll separate themselves here as we head into training camp. But the idea here is to, have competition in the room. And Brian and his staff, as we go through the off season, get into training camp, I'm sure the reps will change at some point, when people separate themselves.
That was Mike Borgonzi yesterday with the Two-Tone Contingent Titans press conference, chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. They do have the perfect setup for something. When they don't want to answer a question, they basically will just reference the guy that's not there and go, well, I don't want to speak for him. That's kind of their thing.
Oh man.
But that was the whole okay, so is Cam Ward the starter? And I know Callahan was asked that the other night and basically said we're not there yet. I mean, we're not going to do that right now, which is the right thing to say. You don't want to anoint him, day zero, because that's basically what it was. But Will Levis was also brought up a couple of times during the press conference yesterday. Here was their answer on Will Levis.
I guess before maybe the interest in Will during the draft and just him still being on roster, what does that say about his value with the team?
It's a lot of value. I think, there's going to be competition in every room, and he elevates the competition in that room. That's what we're trying to do here as we get into training camp, is have the best 90-man roster, best competition in every room, and Will certainly provides that.
Was there an attempt to move him during the draft?
There was not.
There was not an intent to move him. And then the competition and all that stuff. Look, I'm not buying that. It's what they have to say. I'm not gonna, poo-poo on that and get mad at them for saying that, because it's what they have to say right now. It's what they need to say right now. They need to sit here and go, yeah, there's 4 guys in that room. They're all competing for the starting job. We know that's a bunch of bull. We know that Will Levis has no shot in hell of being the starting quarterback for this team again, unless there's an injury.
All right.
But that's what they have to say right now.
So I'm gathering this was a colossal waste of your time.
I'm not going to say it was a colossal waste of my time.
Did you learn anything new yesterday?
Not really.
That you didn't? Okay,
Not
thank
really.
you. All right.
But I mean, most post-draft press conferences are that. And look, I will give Borgonzi especially credit. I think he has mastered the art of talking without saying anything. And, a lot of coaches and GMs do that.
I just remember
Floyd was great at it.
Robinson Malarkey, Robinson Vrabel. It's always the general manager and the head coach with the after draft. And I don't.
Vrabel didn't always do it.
I wasn't there for much of the Vrabel after 21.
Yeah, sometimes I think J-Rob's last one, it was just him. And then
is that which one did he cry like a sissy?
That was at the combine.
Was that 22? Because he got fired after 20.
It was the year he got fired.
This job means the world to me.
Yeah, that was at the combine.
That was so fake. That and the Rand press conference were 2 of the fakest things I've ever seen in my life.
0388. Biggest load of crap. He's got to go.
Who's that?
Me? I guess
I'm
Brinker.
trying. Brinker. I just don't.
So Wes then says, so Levis will start if he plays better. That's my question. Now, look, you have to say this right now.
Yeah.
But what if we get into training camp in the preseason and they do this whole BS of, all right, well, we're going to split the reps and Cam's going to start one game and all this stuff. What if Levis throws, let's say he plays they both play all 3 games and Levis throws for like 400 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks.
Lord.
And
what world are you living in?
And we're playing the what if game, Joe.
All right.
And Cam Ward, struggles and throws like 300 something, 2 touchdowns, 4 picks. And we've watched practice and, he's struggling in practice and not on the same page with the receivers. I mean, then what do you do?
then you fire Borgonzi, Brinker, and Callahan. I mean,
at the start of
if
the
Cam
season.
Ward is not your starting quarterback, then all the stuff we've been fed is garbage.
Okay,
Absolute. If Will Levis, think about what you just said.
I understand,
Will Levis beats out
now,
Cam Ward.
now we're gonna play this game.
All right.
He's a rookie quarterback.
Okay.
You know he's going to have to develop. You know he's going to make mistakes. If you find yourself in a situation where you have whether you want to say this or not, a veteran, which Levis is the veteran,
Okay.
and he outplays him in training camp and by all practical purposes earns the job, wouldn't it be in the best interest of the rookie quarterback to let Levis start the season?
No.
If you're thinking about long term,
There's no scenario do I want to see Will Levis behind center again.
I'm with you, and I know the fan base don't want to see that either.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, if the kid isn't ready, you don't need to force him out there.
Whose fault if he's not ready? Is it Callahan's fault?
Oh, I guess you're going to blame Callahan, but I mean, like, you really are expecting him to be ready from between now and the end of August?
Yeah. Yeah. You got 4 months.
Okay.
This is a guy that is the all-time passer in college football, moved around 3 different offenses, excelled at every place he's been. He knows the game. He knows all that. He gets in here. He works his butt off. He damn well be to be the starter. You roll Levis out there chasing game 1 at home, people be like, what in the hell's going on? You don't know football after all. It's imperative that Cam Ward is the starting quarterback that first game in September. No ifs, ands, or buts. Can't be.
615-737-1025. Kenny has been waiting patiently on our phone line. Kenny, what's up?
Good morning, good friends.
What's up, sir?
I'm like y'all, Brinker. He just has to be there, except, well, maybe if he's like planning a tribute night for George Plaster or something like that.
Now,
I
hold
think
on
that
a
would
second
be
there,
okay.
Kenny.
Listen, we're talking about dysfunction. I want y'all to interpret this for me. I was watching the draft. The Browns in the 3rd round took a left-handed quarterback. Now, you don't take a left-handed quarterback unless that guy's going to be great because you have to change your whole line. Then they turn around in the 5th round, and all the announcers said you just got the best value ever in a modern-day draft when they picked Sanders, and they flashed the Cleveland draft board, and it looked like every one of them had just eaten bad cabbage. Did y'all see that?
No,
I think I missed that.
Oh, you've got to please pull it up. 3 or 4 golf clapped, but there was not a smile among those 15 people. It's like, what was that? Were they told to do this pick? It was no rhyme, no reason or anything. Picking left-handed quarterbacks, then picking another one, and then not even cheering when supposedly they picked the greatest pick ever. Y'all have a great day.
Thank you, Kenny. Appreciate it.
Real quick, Dr. Crane, I know you're busy back there. But man, you got to put up Kenny the mailman. I mean, that's the respect, just the respect he gets in this market.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
He meant on the call screener.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because I just thought it was some guy named Kenny.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I
Man,
didn't think about it.
That's fine.
I mean, I've earned the respect in all the years of calling
That's
in.
strike 1 today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Don't let it be a strike 3.
That's the first time I haven't put mailman next to his name. It's kind
I
of
figured it was him, but
Let me tell you what, if strike 3, you go down looking, which I think is the worst thing in sports, that and just tackling with your head like an idiot, then you have a meeting with Chase and I after the show.
Rule number 1, I will never tackle with my head. Rule number 2, I never go down swing. I never go down looking. It's
Okay.
always swinging.
Love you, man. It's got love the attitude.
615-737-1025. We'll continue the discussion. Coming up next here on Chase and Big Joe, broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. It's time for the 4th annual 615 Open Charity Golf Tournament benefiting Folds of Honor. It's presented by Gary Force Acura at Hermitage Golf Course on Thursday, May 29th. Sign up to player sponsor at 615open.com. Chasing Big Joe here on this Tuesday, talking about the Titans presser, the two-tone contingent, which somebody said sounds like an old WWF tag team, which is very true. There was one question that was asked yesterday that I told you that I just wanted to play this for you, that I almost laughed with the answer and the body language by both of these guys.
Who asked the question?
Do
you remember?
I don't remember.
Okay.
TD. It was
Okay.
TD.
All right.
So play it.
As you get guys back in the building, where is Traylon Burks in this process? How is he coming along?
Yeah, Traylon's, he's rehabbing, he's working, and he's trying to get back.
I'm assuming the 5th-year option is not going to be picked up.
We're still discussing all that, but yeah, probably not.
Oh, it's on the table, but no.
Here's what, and I'm glad TD asked it because we talked about it after. It's like, yeah, I just needed to ask it. The look on their faces was just like my reaction when TD asked the question. That was, oh crap, I forgot he was still here too.
I would have, good for TD, because I probably would have never asked the question.
Like,
I forgot about it.
I'm just gonna be 100% honest with you. I forgot he was on the team. Like that's how little of an impact that guy has made. And I think it was almost like they were so caught off guard, like, oh, who? Oh yeah, him. Yeah, no, yeah, he's here.
I mean, that is an odd position to be in for them because we all know what the answer is. But I get what they got to say is,
yeah, he's rehabbing, he's working, but like, I mean,
get there, yeah.
Like, look, translation, we don't care.
No,
he's not gonna play.
Nope.
Like
Over and done.
He's not gonna. Yeah, I mean,
so work with me on the receivers now. Ridley, Lockett, the two they drafted. That's 4.
Yeah, Restrepo supposedly
5.
Bryce Oliver
6.
Van
Jefferson
7. The kid from
Colton Dow still
Colton
there?
Dow
8.
It's
a crowded room there, Bubba.
Traylon's still on the roster. Jaquan Jackson, he's still there from Tulane.
That's 9 wide receivers.
Mason Kinsey, who just
10
hangs around. This says he has 3 years of experience. That dude's been here for like 8 years.
Yeah, right.
Come on now. Tay Martin, who is I don't know who that is.
That's 11.
Is it Proche? James Proche?
James Prochet.
Prochet?
Out of SMU. They signed him from Baltimore.
They signed him from Baltimore. I mean, he could be like a return guy, I think.
He is.
12.
Yeah.
That's 12 receivers.
Yeah.
Good
yeah.
Lord.
So they got it. And I mean, who knows if there'll be some other undrafted guys they bring in too.
So tight ends, it's Levitt, Chig, and Gunnar Helm. So 3 tight ends. Am I missing one?
Wiley.
Who's Levitt? Who's Josh Levitt?
I don't know.
I think he's some dude I owe money to.
I think he plays Broadway. Wiley, Okonkwo, Odukoya, David Martin Robinson, Gunnar Helm.
David Martin Robinson's not bad, isn't he? I mean,
No,
he's okay.
he was kind of our camp darling last year, and he made the team, and then I think he get hurt or something. He just didn't really do much after that. The tight end competition is going to be interesting. They got 6 running backs on the roster right now.
Can you name them? I mean, I don't know who they all
are. Tony Pollard, Tajay Spears, Julius Chestnut, Jabari Small, who's back
from Tennessee. That's
from
your
Tennessee.
guy. Yeah.
I like him. And then Kalel Mullins that they just drafted.
Okay. Kalel.
4 quarterbacks. Kalel. 4 quarterbacks.
Yeah, they're gonna have. You only have 90, correct? Going into camp.
Yeah, but they're not even. I don't even think they're close to 90 right now.
Man, that's a lot of guys.
Yeah.
Did they say when the rookie mini camp is?
They probably did, but I wasn't paying attention.
To be laughing at Burks.
Yeah. That one got me.
Okay, so y'all already said Ridley, Jamar, Justin.
I think Chase and Jamar is like the
and then for my last one, Traylon Burks.
Oh, is that
That's Cam Ward? Yeah.
Okay.
That when he's playing Fortnite or
yeah,
whatever
his
it was.
top 4 wide receivers in the NFL.
Yeah.
The more I read about this dude, the more I like him. I mean, I really do.
He seems like a really here's the other thing that was just cool to me. And my whole thing is draft night, you can only do one time. Like, did you see the 4th round guy? The guy that got taken in the 4th round
did not.
That was in the green room in Green Bay.
And he stuck around?
He stuck around. And so, like, during that round, the I forget her name, but she had been doing all the picks. Well, Goodell had to come back up there because he was in the green room. And, like, he did the hat. He did the hug with Goodell. Goodell kind of looked at him like, sorry, I don't have a jersey for you. Like, all that. And then he went and, like, high-fived the crowd.
Yes.
And I just was like, that is cool. And it was Green Bay.
Right.
He was drafted by Green Bay. But I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah. That's cool that Goodell came back and did that.
Yeah. That was the right thing to do. I mean, Goodell, he doesn't leave. Like, he was still there because I think he does Mr. Irrelevant too. But
okay. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, you only get drafted one time. So however you want to live that moment is up to you. And like a lot of guys will, we all know Dion, like they, had all the chains and like spent, they're gonna spend so much money on me, they're gonna have to put me on layaway. There was all that stuff. But Cam Ward's up there just very like kind of casual. And I appreciated that because that's me. That's how I would be. Like, I don't need flash, and so it's just like that. But he's very laid back. He's just not.
The video of him and Shedeur during the training process, you realize this dude's special.
Yeah.
By the way, to me, the funniest thing, the draft, did you see Keith Bullock's Instagram when they handed him the 2nd round pick to pronounce?
Oh, yeah.
And he put out, he's like, why y'all doing this to me? Because I still can't pronounce the guy's name.
No, well, I can do like Femi Oladejo.
Okay.
But what was so funny is he nailed it. Like when he did it, he nailed it. And everybody was like, oh, no Honor Landry here.
Oh, that was brutal that night. Oh, Bullock, man. One of the best. God. His number goes next. His number goes next. I'm telling you. He's 10 years here should go.
I mean, if you're gonna do 3 at a time, like to me, Blaine should be up there.
Blaine, Derek, and Bullock.
Yeah. I mean, that would be my vote.
Hey, Blaine played a year with the Eagles, so don't bring this because Derek went to the Ravens garbage to me.
I know.
I mean, Derek had the return that broke the Jags back, which got the Titans to the Super Bowl. Might be the most underrated play in Tennessee Titans history since they came here.
Oh, yeah. I agree.
When they had the safety
kick.
Yep. And Derek ran it back. I mean, that is it doesn't get talked about enough, but I'm with you. Bullock, Derek, and Blaine. Now, I'm not saying retired numbers. Just put them in the Ring of Honor. Yeah.
Yeah. No. I mean, because like there's not many of the Titans era except for like what Titans are in there? Steve, Eddie, Wycheck, and then I guess Bruce.
Yes.
And then Jeff and Floyd.
And Floyd.
But player wise, like, do you put Curse in there?
At some point you do.
Yeah. I mean,
at some point.
But I agree. Like Bullock, Blaine, and Derek to me should be.
May I do my Floyd laugh?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks, man.
You feel better?
I do. I used to do it all the time when I was with Pogue, and he hated it, but he laughed every time.
Well, we like doing that with Pogue.
Yes.
Let's give something away, shall we?
Okay.
You in a giving mood? I'm in a giving mood. Yeah, you can give a hug away. Okay. But caller number 3 at 615-737-1025. You can go to Atlanta. You're going to win a pair of tickets to see the Braves take on the Dodgers this Friday at Truist Park. Jared's going to be broadcasting from there down in the ATL. Caller number 3, 615-737-1025. You'll go see the Braves take on the Dodgers this Friday at Truist Park. More coming in hour number 2. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Hour number 2, Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game on this Tuesday. Having some fun this morning. He's Big Joe. I'm Chase McCabe. Dr. Crane, Nick Frazier on the ones and twos. Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. Sent one lucky fan to Atlanta.
Look at you, man.
How about that?
I mean, you're a guy that just gives and gives and gives. Appreciate
Too
you.
much sometimes.
So, question for you. Say the Titans go 2-15.
Mm-hmm.
They have none more draft pick next year. And you're sitting there with Arch Manning. I know we hate hypotheticals, but the fan base is going to lose their you-know-what. And the reason I ask, because the odds are out for the number 1 overall pick in 2026. What would you do, man?
Are the Titans the favorite to be the number 1 overall pick?
These players are the number 1 pick.
Oh, gotcha.
Arch Manning's number 1.
I mean, for me right now, it's pretty easy what I would do. I would do what many thought they should have done this year. I'd trade out, and next year might be a better draft to trade out of it and get more picks.
Okay. So you'd pass on Arch Manning.
Yes.
By the way, Arch Manning's not done much at Texas.
Yeah, look, I'm not infatuated with him like everybody else is.
And I'm telling you, Arch Manning's not coming out next year.
I don't think so either.
Will you get $6 million to stay another year? I mean, that means he's total. What'd you say, Nick? I think you had he's already made like $19 million or something. You had a list a few weeks ago.
His NIL value, I think, if I remember correctly, was like 6.1 or 6.3 going into this season. So he's made roughly almost $20 million.
So he's got 2 more years.
Yeah.
To do this, right? So is he 23, 24, 25?
I think 26, right?
So he'll be a junior this year. Yeah.
I'll double check for you.
Yeah, and then why come out? Because you're already making more than 18 quarterbacks doing that. But here are the number 1. So the number 1 picks next year, Arch Manning of Texas. Number 2, Drew Allar from Penn State. Are you on board with that?
No. For the number 1 overall pick?
Yeah. He's at plus 225. Arch is plus 200.
Yeah.
So he's right on his tail.
Okay.
Third is a guy that I think is good if he's not ruined by his head coach. And that's Garrett Nussmeier at LSU, who's really good.
I think Nussmeier, he might be the Heisman. Like I would love to see his Heisman odds.
His father's also the coach for the Saints.
Yeah, and wasn't he on Saban's staff at one time?
I think so. Yeah. So, and then Cade Klubnik from Clemson. It's plus 200.
Jerry's still out on him, but he's pretty good.
Plus 225. Garrett Nussmeier's plus 450. Then it goes all the way to plus 1,800 on Cade Klubnik and TJ Parker, the edge rusher out of Clemson, by the way. But quarterbacks, those 4 are at the top.
Well, look, you're hoping that the Titans aren't in that position again. But let's all be realistic that there is a pretty good chance that they could be picking in the top 10 again. Like, I don't, I mean, even if you didn't take Cam and you signed a big name free agent and had more draft picks, like, I still don't think you're in a position to compete yet. And I think they know that. So, and this draft tells me that they want to develop. That's what they're trying to do. So you're probably going to pick in the top 10 again. And that was one thing yesterday that did get brought up of the plan and like what your conversations with Amy, and they both were like, look, guys, Amy's on board with the plan. She knows what the plan is. She knows she has to be patient. We're going to develop these guys. It's a process, but she's on board and has entrusted us to do this.
Okay. I'm all for it. By the way, did you see the list that somebody in the SEC tweeted out yesterday? There's been an SEC player drafted in every round since 1993.
I believe that.
In the second round in 93, they had no draft choices. Ever since then, there's been a player drafted in every single round of the draft, 32, 33 drafts that's happened.
I believe that.
I mean, that's a fantastic stat.
So, Joe, I have your numbers.
Yeah, pal.
So if Arch Manning stays all 5 years, he could make $32.9 million. If he stays, his 4 years, 26.3. And then, I think that's what will happen. We'll get 26.3.
So he's going into this year. Is he a redshirt sophomore going into this year?
I'd assume so.
23, 24, 25. So, he's got, my gosh. Why come out?
Quinn Ewers, the Texas quarterback, passed up on $8 million to go back to Texas this year. And now he's only getting paid $800,000. So,
to Quinn Ewers to go to the draft.
He was going to stay with Texas for $8 million, but he decided to go to the draft for $800,000.
And who ended up taking him?
Dolphins.
So he's to his backup.
Yep.
Essentially.
Yep.
I don't hate that. It's a good offense for him to be in.
It is. But I just think for college football now, I like this. I mean, you got a guy staying 4 years now to play football. I like it. I think it's great.
So, okay, now I'm curious. Let's say the Titans go 5-12. All right. So that's
Okay.
2 more wins than you had this past year. But here's the big difference.
Okay.
You're in games, they're close. Like you're the only ones you're getting, completely blown out are like the Chiefs and the really, really good teams, but you're showing signs of competitiveness. Ward's showing signs of development. You end up picking 7th next year. Are you going to be able to be patient knowing that you're starting to trend in the right direction and now you're in a position to get another impact player right away? Or is everybody going to flip out and be like, fire everybody? I mean, we know what 2:00 is going to be, but like, are
That's a
you
good point.
are you going to be able to be patient?
I think so.
I think a majority of the fan base will be. There'll be the small, portion that's going to be like, fire everybody. And,
I'm going to say it again. You're going to hate me for it. Remember, you just got to be better than 3 other teams.
Well, sure.
Right?
Sure.
That's it. I think so if you show progress. But I'm also all about throwing Cam Ward to the Wolves.
Sure. I mean, yeah. I mean, I think, and look, he's going to be. We're playing a lot of what ifs right now. I mean, we got 6 months to talk about this stuff. So, like, let's, we'll play some what if game. But he's going to start. It's just how much progress is he making? Is the rest of the team making? These other draft picks that they brought in. To me, it's not the worst thing in the world to be bad for another year while showing growth and being competitive.
Yeah.
And then continue to add young talent.
I agree. No, I agree on that. But
no, I mean, look, I would sign me up tomorrow if all of a sudden whatever they got clicks and they go out and they win 12 games and, make a run of the playoffs.
I do like the fact that you have fresh eyes on this team from Borgonzi.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
think he's a smart guy.
And he said, look, I've watched this in the league. Ran as whatever he did in San Francisco was not watching the league as a whole. He's watching players, pick up players, that player. And I think now you got a GM who's truly a GM. I mean, he's looking at the entire league and players all together. And now he's had that 5,000 foot view. Now he's come down the ground and said, all right, here's to work on. Let's let him do his thing. Let him do his thing.
Here's what I like about him. He's a scout. He's got those chops. Like you can tell he knows how to evaluate talent. So that's that's something that I really like about Borgonzi. Here's the other thing. What I don't want, and this is why I think they've been careful with what they did in free agency, that they didn't try and overspend. The last thing you want is to be in a position like, we've talked about with the Predators of just missing the playoffs and picking mid pack. Like, you don't want that. Like, if you're in a rebuild, which this team is in, and I think everybody's scared to use that word, you either want to take the big jump and make the playoffs, or you want to still be bad, or you can get a good draft pick or trade that pick and get multiple draft picks.
Well, I mean, it's a thing where the Titans for years drafted 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th.
Sure.
Then you get Curse, but you also got terrible Kendall Wright. You got Chance Warmack.
Right.
So you got to make that pick. Although they hit on what was Lawan? Was he 12?
He was
11 or
11th. I think it was 11th.
Okay.
Courtesy to Ian back.
By the way, I meant to bring this up earlier. So you know how Facebook does the Facebook memories or whatever?
Yeah.
So yesterday was the I guess 2011 draft. It was Locker, whenever Locker was.
Yeah, 2011.
And I posted like, Jake Locker, let's go. I'm excited about this pick. And I was like, oh, if you only knew.
I will never forget. It came down late and I was at Channel 2. They're like, you got to go be live somewhere. And I'm like, it's like 9:50. And they want me live at the top of the show. So we went live in front of the pedestrian bridge. And it was an awful live shot. Jake Locker had just gotten drafted. And it was just a nightmare. So I remember that vividly because that's when Cam went 1, Gabbert went 8, I think. And then Locker went right after that. 10 or 11, wasn't it right in there?
I think it was 10.
10, yep.
And remember, that was in the middle of the lockout, too.
Yep.
So, like, literally, the guys got drafted, and, like, the moment they walk across the stage, they join the PA, and then they're locked out.
Right.
It was, like, the weirdest thing.
Yes.
And Munchak had been hired. I don't even think
I like Munchak.
they hadn't even had free agency yet, right?
They had not.
Yeah.
Because they had to sign Hasselbeck, Matt Hasselbeck, to be the quarterback,
right,
and then get Locker in there. Look, it was just but that team went 9-7.
It was Cam, Von Miller, Marcel Darius, AJ Green, Patrick Peterson, Julio Jones, Alden Smith. Jake Locker was 8th.
8th, okay.
Tyron Smith, Blaine Gabbert was 10th.
Where's JJ Watt?
11th.
11th. Okay.
Do you remember the quarterback that went 12th?
Hold on. Gabbert, Locker, Cam, 12. God, what conference? I like this game a lot.
ACC. So I guess Locker was the second quarterback taken.
Yeah, and then Gabbert, right? Gabbert went 10th.
Yeah,
they love Gabbert.
And then this guy.
I don't remember.
Florida State.
EJ Manuel.
Nope.
Sam Ponder's husband.
Christian Ponder. Vikings.
Gosh, he lasted what, a week?
Probably. Mike Pouncey was in that draft by the Dolphins. It was good.
Run that down real quick. Keep going.
So it was Christian Ponder, Nick Fairley, Robert Quinn, Mike Pouncey, Ryan Kerrigan, Nate Solder, Corey Leggett, Prince Mukamara, Adrian Claiborne, Phil Taylor, Anthony Costanzo, Danny Watkins, Cameron Jordan, James Carpenter, Jonathan Baldwin, Jimmy Smith, Mark Ingram, Gabe Karimi, Muhammad Wilkerson, Cameron Hayward, and then Derek Sherrard.
Where'd Cam Jordan get drafted by? Is he still in the league?
I think so. Saints.
So the Saints had 2 picks in the first round, Mark Ingram and then that guy?
Yeah.
Okay. Not bad. Not bad. That's not a bad draft.
Ooh, so there's a couple of, I'm looking at ESPN, there's 3 players that don't have a team logo next to them. Was that the Redskins? Maybe?
Who were the picks?
It was Robert Quinn, Ryan Kerrigan, Corey Leggett.
I don't remember.
I don't know.
I'll take that. But Julio Jones, that's not a bad little draft.
That was a pretty good draft. That Patrick Peterson.
Patrick Peterson just retired.
Yeah. Alden Smith, he was decent.
He was.
Von Miller, obviously. Really
He's
good.
in the Hall of Fame before DeAndre Hopkins.
He will be.
Yeah.
AJ Green.
That's a good draft.
Yeah, that was a really good draft.
He's selling jerseys now?
Well, no, I mean, didn't he get in trouble for that?
Oh, I don't remember.
Who was do you remember who the second round pick was for the Titans that year?
Oh my gosh, hold on. 2011. Oh gosh. Akeem Ayers.
Yep.
God,
UCLA.
he was terrible. And I felt bad because there was a Titans coach. Because remember on draft day, you could go over there and hang out and you could eat in the cafeteria. Titans coach sat down next to me and said, that guy,
yeah,
we got the steal of the draft.
You know what makes me feel
Olajuwon? Sure.
What makes me feel so freaking old is like a lot of these guys are starting to retire.
Yeah.
And it's just like
starting to. They should be gone.
Some have retired. I mean, Locker.
Cam Hayward's still playing for the Steelers, right? With his brother.
Yeah. The last pick of the second round was a wide receiver. I think a quarterback turned wide receiver out of Kentucky.
Was that the guy that beat was that Randall Cobb?
Yeah, Randall Cobb.
Remember when Kentucky beat Tennessee with a backup wide receiver walk on? And then Derek Dooley didn't he did like a trot, didn't speak to the media for like 55 days. Awful. Tennessee fans, you should feel good. I know we talked a lot of pro, but this list just came out. They ranked the top 16 SEC schools after spring practice after the portal. You're going to be shocked where one team is.
All right, we'll do that coming up next. It's Chase and Big Joe presented by the Omni Nashville Hotel here on this Tuesday. And tomorrow Join 1025 The Game and DVD as they broadcast from Ascent Building's hiring event from 11 to 2 in Portland, 214 Fountainhead Road. The hiring fair runs from 9 to 3, and there will be food trucks during the lunch hour. More details at thegamenashville.com/events.
On perfect time. Come on, bro. Let's make a song. Let's drop one, Richie. I play football. Here we go. Football. I play football. You ain't got no hobbies outside of that? I play football. That's the only hobby I want people to know me as football player. Let's search up Cam Wood. Let me see. American football.
Was that Cam and Shador?
Yeah.
Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game here on this Tuesday.
That's a great video.
And, of course, we are broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership where the buzz is always about great service. You can weigh in on anything we're talking about at 615-737-1025. Our phone and text line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
It is. All right, so real quick, college football, spring practice is wrapped up, everybody, and this list that came out from Saturday Down South, which I like because they really get into it and they do a lot of good things. So this is how they rank SEC football heading into fall camp, 1 through 16 after the portal and everything. Number 16, Dr. Crane. Your Bulldogs are 16th. I'm sorry.
It's fair.
All right, can I guess some of these?
Sure.
All right.
15.
15, Vanderbilt.
Kentucky.
Okay.
Pretty much Kentucky is a disaster.
Yeah. All right.
14, their coach, once again, is on the hot seat.
Missouri?
No. He lied to Mike Vrabel and John Robinson about a former player of his.
Arkansas.
Yeah, Sam Pittman.
Yeah.
They play road trips, Ole Miss, Tennessee, LSU, and Texas. Then they host Notre Dame in non-conference. All right, that's 14. 13. Can you guess 13, Chaser?
That should probably be Vandy.
That is Vanderbilt.
Yep.
That sure is. 12, which shocked me.
Nice. 12 shocked you. Was this the tease? The one that shocked you?
Yep.
Tennessee
Vols. Just because of
Quarterback.
Nico leaving and everything else, you got to replace. And they said replacing Dylan Sampson is not talked about enough. And so then he lost James Pierce.
That's probably fair.
Yep. And now people figured that offense out to go on. 11's Mizzou, 10 South Carolina,
Oklahoma.
Auburn's 9, Oklahoma's 8.
Okay.
7, Florida Gators.
Florida. Figured they'd be a little higher.
This one also shocked me. It's not going to make fans happy. Alabama.
Alabama, 6.
You agree with that?
Yeah, right now.
I
do.
Alabama 6.
So is Ole Miss 5?
Texas A&M.
Texas A&M is 5.
Mm-hmm.
Ole Miss
4.
Don't tell me. So we need 3 more. LSU
comes in at number 2. Chase.
Texas
number 1.
So Georgia
coming at number 3.
Interesting.
Despite losing 13 players in the draft, including 3 first-rounders on defense, the Bulldogs are still loaded. Georgia had a couple receivers who might be able to actually catch passes via the portal, and they got Josh McCray, sneaky addition at running back. But pretty much Texas, LSU, and Georgia, which sets up with LSU the expectations for Brian Kelly. I mean, if you're 2 in this ranking and Brian Kelly, you go 8-4, is there writing on the wall? I mean, is it time?
Yeah. I think so.
I mean, you got a high-level quarterback who's good, who's smart.
I think he made a mistake leaving Notre Dame. I don't think the SEC, I don't know. He just doesn't fit the SEC, in my opinion.
What do we always say, brother?
You go where the money is?
No.
Follow the money?
Well, that too. What do we always do? Stay
one step ahead of the jailer.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you leave Notre Dame, you get an LSU, you get a 4 to 5 year deal, then you're good to go. Despite all this, I'm still interested to see, if that doesn't work out. But like with Jimbo Fisher, I mean, he's still sitting out there. I mean, he's going to return.
He'll be back. He'll be back.
Has to.
He'll be back.
He's got to wants to go out and prove that.
And I tell you, I'll go ahead and call my shot right now where he'll be.
Don't say it.
Arkansas.
I thought you were going to say Alabama.
No, I think his high-profile job, probably those days are probably done. But I think now, look, he could, if Kelly left LSU, that could happen.
Could be. He coached there before.
That could finally happen.
I'll call him up and ask. We're so tight.
But I could see an Arkansas, putting some money together And plus, it won't take as much because I mean he's making a buttload from A&M.
Pay you $50,000, let A&M pay the rest. Not your fault
because it's an offset, right?
Yep, it sure is.
So yeah, I mean, he could do it, but I could see something like that. Yeah, because Pittman, I don't know how he's lasted this long.
Yeah, and I think sneaky in this list.
I think another one, a hot seat is Hugh Freeze.
They're paying so many coaches, they can't.
I know, but
you have to pay him. They're still playing Harsin. Hell, they still might be paying Gus Malzahn.
No, they might be. You might be right.
I mean, Auburn's got to chill with all this at some point to figure this stuff out. Alabama's there for the taking. So if you could rally around,
okay, so let me ask you this. Let's say DeBoer flames out this year. He's out after 2 years. Is that when Kiffin makes the move? Do they try and get him then?
Let me ask you this again, Chase. What has Lane Kiffin ever done?
No, Joe.
What's he ever done?
What has half the guys that get these jobs ever done?
I know, but I think he's good at Ole Miss. I think he likes so, but he can always, I know, at the last second. But why go to that pressure cooker?
I agree. I mean, I think he should. If I'm him, I'm staying in Oxford the rest of my coaching career.
But he's massively overrated. I think he's massively overrated.
Tell me a guy that isn't.
Brian Kelly's been to the playoffs.
Brian Kelly is one of the most he has, but he's overrated.
Well, he's been in the playoffs.
He's been in the playoffs, but he's overrated.
Kiffin's done nothing.
Hugh Freeze overrated. Brent Venables was one of the most overrated coordinators in college football and finally got a job, and I think that's about done.
He was okay at Clemson. Got the job.
Yeah, I know he was fine at Clemson as a coordinator, but I don't think he's a great head coach.
And I've always wondered why South Carolina. This goes back a long time.
Now he has surprised me.
I think they were legit one of the top 4 best football teams at the end of the year last year. South Carolina. I mean that defense. I mean they mauled Pavia in their game they played. I mean Vanderbilt couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
And that linebacker that got drafted by the Bengals, I'd love to have seen him here. That dude's a headhunter, but it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out this fall because I think DeBoer. I'm telling you, fans are restless.
I'll tell you what.
Tell me, buddy.
If Vanderbilt goes to Tuscaloosa and beats them, he should start packing. Now, look, I think Vandy's going to be better. I think Vandy has shown they can play in this era, and the fact that you got Pavia back, they need they had to do some tweaking, but I'm curious of them if they can put it together 2 years in a row,
right?
Which then will raise an interesting question because if you're Clark Lee, you're probably going to get some phone calls.
Can I tell you something?
Sure.
When we come back.
Sure.
So Eli, you got to stand like this. Vanderbilt football is doing something in 2025, which every team should do. And I'm telling you, it's going to help Vanderbilt. I'll tell you what it is.
Okay. We'll discuss that and much more coming up next. It is Chase and Big Joe here on this Tuesday. And speaking of Vandy, baseball is in action against Indiana State. Pregame at 5:45, first pitch at 6. You can also listen on the app and at thegamenashville.com.
It could be on Saturday if Vanderbilt wins. At least
goalposts up and down West.
Oh, down Broadway. I'll help carry it down Broadway. I will find a way to get to West End and help carry that goalpost all the way from West End to the Cumberland River.
And I'll hold the panel.
Nobody's going to stop us. You know Freddie O'Connell, the mayor. Chase, call him and tell him, clear the way out of this. Mike Organ knows John Drake, the police chief, really well. We'll say, back off, chief, just for a little bit.
Mike Organ's cat can ride on the goalpost.
Could you imagine taking that goalpost down Broadway? This would be the best thing ever. Oh my gosh. A lot of things have happened since we did that.
Blast from the past.
But I can't believe, Chase and Big Joe, I can't believe we spoke that into existence.
We did. We did. I remember
I don't think we get enough credit for that.
Like that text, like, oh my God, it's really happening. All right, so I talked before the break, something that Vanderbilt football is doing this year, and I spoke to Clark Lee 2 weeks ago at an event we were together, and I think it's great for all that goes on. Remember last year who they opened with?
No.
Virginia Tech.
Oh, yeah,
overtime.
Yeah. That
Tough
was a great game. Yeah.
Vanderbilt this year opens against Charleston Southern. And here's why I like this game. Obviously, they're favored to beat them big time. They should beat them pretty well. I mean, Charleston Southern's not going to quit, but you come here. But that first game at home, you get to work through everything.
Yep.
First team, second team, special team, punt team, kickoff team, guys where they should be, go through the routine, all that stuff. Because the next two games after that are at Virginia Tech and out South Carolina.
Not easy.
At all. So you get the confidence of that first game, feeling good about yourself. You're not playing at Virginia Tech or South Carolina. Now you go the road. So that's why I like teams who are Power 5 teams to play the Group of 5 or whatever teams, the FCS, just to get that one game under their belt so everything's working on the same page. That way you're not going like Tennessee opens against Syracuse, right, Dr. Crane? Is that right?
In Atlanta.
Yeah. That's not going to be easy for the Vols.
No.
At all. So I like Vanderbilt's opening of Charleston Southern because you got Virginia Tech out South Carolina. Then you come back for 2 games, Georgia State, Utah State. Then after that, holy mama, at Bama, LSU at home, Missouri, at Texas, Auburn. But I think Kentucky, and if Tennessee's season implodes, I think they go to Knoxville and beat Tennessee.
I think they're going to go to Tuscaloosa and beat Alabama. I just got to
it's hard.
It's it's a hard place to play, but here's the thing that they're doing, and they're doing this in every sport, and I applaud them for it because obviously things were different, but I never thought that they would play the portal game and the NIL game the way that they're doing. And they had to, because in order for them to be invited to the dance, they were going to have to play this game. And they have done a really good job of it. I mean, you have football that found this guy in Diego Pavia. He's able to come back for another year, which is going to bring other guys back. Now, look, that did open up, I think is going to open up a can of worms down the road, but is what it is. I'm glad he's back. And then you got basketball that brought these guys in, baseball a little bit, but they had to, and I think they've done a really good job of playing this. And so if they keep doing it right, you know how this works. It takes, 1 or 2 good years for other players to look and go, I like what they're doing there in Nashville. I'll go to Vandy.
Well, Pavia might be there for the next 10 years. He keeps suing the NCAA.
I think just this year
to going on. But look, stadium looks great.
Yep, they've done a really nice job over there. I was there a few weeks ago, and it's coming along.
And Clark's a hell of a coach, man.
Yep.
I mean, he is. I mean, the job last year he did, winning the bowl game. I just think that's starting out at Southern, and if you could knock off
Vanderbilt athletics has the most momentum that they have had, definitely in a long time, maybe ever.
Listen to this. This is the first time I remember in a long time we're sitting here talking about Vanderbilt winning multiple games and having a winning record.
Yeah.
Like last year, well, they're 2-10. Alabama comes here, then Texas comes here. Look, you start Charleston Southern, you knock off Virginia Tech or South, one of those two.
I say
2-1.
I have them 4-1 going to Tuscaloosa.
Yep.
And I think Virginia Tech, South Carolina, probably you split those. Being realistic, you split those.
I got right now at first glance 7-5. And I know
Okay.
people don't
All right,
care
so
about our predictions.
I'll be a little more realistic and say they don't beat Alabama. So 4-2. LSU probably 4-3. I'll give them Missouri 5-3. Texas 5-4. Auburn 6-4. Kentucky 7-4. Tennessee's a toss-up depending on what they are.
Exactly. That's why I said 7-5, benefit of the doubt, because if Tennessee's decent, whatever, because it's at Knoxville. But if Tennessee implodes,
dude, if this team is what'd they end up last year?
7-6.
Right, because of so if this team going into a bowl game is 7-5 or 8-4, like hell yeah.
Yep.
All day.
And I'm telling you, right now, Vanderbilt, you have to pay up for Clark. Because if you're winning, I'm coming after you. You win multiple back-to-back at Vanderbilt winning seasons.
But here's the difference.
I'm coming to get you.
There is a bit of a difference here.
He's not an ass like Jimmy Frank.
Exactly. And he's from here, and he's a Vandy guy. So, now look, you have to address, you kind of have to look at what you want in your career and all those things. But I think he would be a different situation than Jimmy Frank is what I'm saying. Now look, if Alabama came calling for him to be the head coach, I think that'd be a really hard job for him to turn down.
Right.
But I think he has the opportunity to be very selective, because I think he's more in. What's interesting is, look, going into last year, I think it was a safe conversation to say, like, hey, they were going to have to really improve some things, or it was going to get difficult. There was going to be some tough
questions.
Right. There's going to be some tough conversations. But now, like, if you put together back-to-back bowl seasons, then yeah, you're in a really good spot. And so if he wants to, go, I mean, if the right job came along, I wouldn't blame him. But at the same time, I think Vanderbilt is his job.
God, left them to beat Texas.
Oh, I think there's a big upset on this schedule, just like last year. So we'll see. Coming up next, we'll get to what day is it and celebrity birthdays. But before that, it is a very special person's birthday on our team. Happy birthday to David Janes.
No way. No way. Happy birthday,
is.
Bubba.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you, Kyle.
That's Mr. Dubin.
I'm sure we'll hear you talking nonstop from 11 to 2, so we'll tune in then. We'll tune in then.
Derek's going to sing to him later and jump out of a cake.
I can't wait to Vingen grabs you in the hallway and says, enough, knock it off.
I don't think Vingen would do that.
You don't know the dark side of that man. Telling you right now.
This week's Nashville's best deal is Prince's Hot Chicken, the original and iconic hot chicken joint. For a limited time, grab half off $25 gift card at theGameNashville.com/deals. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game here on this Tuesday. Happy birthday again to David Janes. It also would have been, I believe, the 74th birthday of Dale Earnhardt.
You are correct.
And that leads us into what day is it and celebrity birthdays. It's brought to you by Jarrett Companies, Inc., above and beyond industry standards. Visit them at jarrettcompaniesinc.com.
All right, gentlemen. First, we have Day of Remembrance for all victims of chemical warfare. International Dance Day to follow that. National Peace Rose Day. Not Pete Rose, Peace Rose. There we go.
I caught you, pal.
Thanks. Goodness, this guy. National Rugelach Day is a form of a pastry. You can put some form of jelly jam in there, nuts, chocolate, all the above. Looks delicious. It's between a cookie and a pastry.
Just read the days, okay?
Sorry.
Did you say pasty or pastry?
Pastry.
Okay,
Joe.
making sure.
National Shrimp Scampi Day is today.
Love
I
that.
do like some shrimp scampi. That's good stuff.
Viral Video Day. We Jump
We're
the
working on
World
it.
Day. World Wish Day. And to wrap it up, I guess to zip it up, is National Zipper Day.
You're the best.
Always got to
man.
make sure you got that zipped up.
Yeah. A lot of those get stuck. You don't want that.
Frank,
what?
Frank and
saying.
Beans?
No, not the Franken Beans.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, The Office.
No.
No, it's just
Something about Mary.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, never mind.
Yeah.
How'd you get the beans before the Frank? That's a great line. All right, time for celebrity birthdays. Got to get these within 2.
By the way, somebody yesterday on the text line accused me of cheating. I am not cheating.
It is not.
I'm just that damn good.
He's that good.
Yeah, you did well yesterday.
Thank you.
First birthday is what? Birthday Jerry Seinfeld. What's up with his birthday?
67.
74.
71.
Damn.
You guys on the extreme there. One of the great actors of all time, actor Daniel Day-Lewis.
77.
70.
68. Dr. Crane's on the board of the one. Good job. He's great as Lincoln. Michelle Pfeiffer. Isn't she white gold?
Maybe.
Michelle
She's
Pfeiffer,
Catwoman.
that white gold.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Let's see what we did there. 63.
68.
67. She's beautiful, man. Who else we got here? Eve Plum. Wasn't she one of the Brady Bunch? Was that Marsha?
Like the original?
Yeah. Eve Plum.
73.
78.
67. You guys don't know your Uma Thurman.
Poison Ivy.
Poison Ivy.
2 Batman villains. Also great character in Pulp Fiction. She is 64.
71.
55.
Oh.
Good Lord.
I can always tell when Dr. Crane doesn't know who these people are.
Oh, you got to get this one. Lives out in Hendersonville. Dwayne Allen of the Oak Ridge Boys.
78.
82.
82 exactly.
Nice.
You look at you, closet Oak Ridge Boy fan.
How
Up
about
4-0. Let's see who else. Oh, actress Kate Mulgrew. She was Star Trek Voyager.
Yeah.
She's also in Orange is the
Janeway.
New Black. And her brother is some councilman here in town.
Captain Janeway is 69.
65.
70. Chasers on the board. 4-1. Singer Carney Wilson of Wilson Phillips. That's the redhead, right?
Yeah. 59.
50.
57. Look, Chaser was down, but he's not out. 4-2. Rapper Master P.
He's been on the station before. He is 57.
56.
55. Dr. Crane's up 5-2. I like that, Dr. Crane. You just came back. Took the momentum away from him. All right, let's do sports birthdays. Former St. Louis Cardinals quarterback Jim Hart, a legend.
74.
77.
81. Golfer Johnny Miller.
68.
60.
78. Mike Babcock.
63.
67.
62. 5-3. Dr. Crane. for Jared Stillman, Browning Nagel, former Louisville quarterback who beat the tar out of Alabama in the Fiesta Bowl in 1990. Browning Nagel.
58.
59.
57. Chaser battling back. It's 5-4. Andre Agassi.
63.
66.
55.
Dang.
God Shamgod.
Who?
NBA player God Shamgod, played at Providence.
Oh, I don't remember him.
Just his name. People were like-
57.
44.
49. Down to the last two. Dr. Crane's up 5-4. Golfer Justin Thomas.
34.
39.
32. We're tied. You were down 4-0. It's tied.
Thanks.
Our final birthday. Speaking of Vanderbilt football, Jay Cutler. How old is Jay Cutler today? He's down in Leaper's Fork, smoking a cigarette and hanging out.
I'm going to say he is 44.
43.
At the buzzer, Dr. Crane, he's 42 years old. Well done. 6-5.
Thank you very much.
You guys got great matches, man. All right, that's it.
Thank you. That'll do it for us.
We leave the show every day with a message to our guys out there. If you are struggling, going through some things, please reach out and talk to somebody. Talk to us. You can call or text 988 on your cell phone. We say it every day, but you are tremendously loved. And if something happened to you, you'd be tremendously missed. Please know that in your journey. So stay strong. Know that we love you. More importantly, more than anything else in this world, God loves you.
Amen to that. Peace, love, rock and roll. And caller number 2 at 615-737-1025 will win a pair of tickets to see Pierce the Veil, Municipal Auditorium on Wednesday, June the 4th. Good luck. DVD.